See, one thing that I realize that's very prominent in today's day and age is that there's a lot of blind indoctrination in this fucking country. And one thing that I can tell you is a lot of us are very blindly indoctrinated with how this culture is, with how society is formed. The very essence of society is indoctrination. And I'll go into detail in this video. The first part was the school system. You know what I mean? They that's where it starts. That's overall right where it starts is the school system. Because they took the kids out of their households, right? They took us away from our parents. And they used to tell me this in school. They used to say, "You're here more than you are at home." So they literally confirmed that they're indoctrinating you. All right? So now that we're aware of that, society has become encapsulated in that indoctrination. So what I mean is very prominently sexuality, law, and what's the other thing? I mean, I could say curriculum because part of it is that too. Fuck it, I'll say it. Yeah, curriculum. You know what I mean? The stuff that you learned in world history, sex ed, all this, like certain subjects in school that would indoctrinate you. It wasn't important, it wasn't needed, but it indoctrinated us. You know what I mean? That based on the time, based on the timeline that they were in, to indoctrinate. And what I mean by that is that based on certain time periods within humanity, they've pretty much taken certain classes of citizens and they've taught this false doctrine, you know, to get people to believe a certain thing for the rest of their lives. You know what I mean? They engineer this false ideology of freedom, you know, and that's the overall definition of what their goal of indoctrination is. Does that make sense? So with this problem that keeps going on, this is why society keeps on collapsing into itself naturally because we're engineered to do it. You know, so if you engineer a rat to worm its way through the maze, you built the maze. You know what I mean? You built it. You know what I mean? So naturally, the rat's gonna go through the maze because that's what you built. He can't go through the walls. You haven't built it that way. So you see how it works? They indoctrinate the mice and then they build the box. And that's exactly what's going on here. And it's very prominent in everything. In your relationships, in your movies, in your media, in your social media. It's all bullshit, man. And what's the point of this video? It's to show you that there's certain parts in life that's really prominent in your blind sides. You know what I mean? And then it becomes a stronghold. Then it becomes a habit. Then before you know it, you lost yourself. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of society, is that it just goes this way. There's no stopping it. There's no voting your way out of it. There's no, hey, maybe in the next 10 years or so. No, there is none of that. You got to start at the root. You got to start at the root. Or else you just keep on getting the same old fucking weed. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like, today in society, that's why a lot of young men, they're lost, man. Ever since I was a kid, I've been indoctrinated. They used to teach me on what to draw, how to express myself. I literally graduated from school soulless, man. I feel like I was never able to express myself without some sort of, you can't do this, you can't do that, this, that, the other. Fuck you. That's what I felt like saying. But I couldn't. I couldn't. Because my future was at stake. You see the indoctrination? I was the rat in the box. Up, go this way, go that way, go that way. You know what I mean? Life wasn't supposed to be like that. Okay? It wasn't supposed to be like that. I'm sure if my mom had the chance to be free as a citizen and taught me a lot about values and core values about life, I would totally be a different man than I was today. Because I was indoctrinated by that fucking school system. And I'm not blaming school entirely. I'm not saying education's bad. It's good to educate yourself. Educate yourself until kingdom come. Come on, I mean, Jesus Christ, he was the first teacher. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not a bad thing to educate yourself. But I wasn't talking about that. What I'm talking about is coerced indoctrination among the youth. That's what I'm talking about. And it exists. It's a real fucking thing. Like I said, they literally told me, you're here more than you are at home. You know what I mean? So they literally confirmed that to me. And I was only 10 years old. You know? Then they all gathered us up in a fucking gym and made us watch a bunch of fucking Obama videos and fucking indoctrinated us to vote for him. And fucking brown nose his ass. You know what I mean? So that, like, that's what I'm saying. Even in the indoctrination system, as long as the politics too, they do that. They tell you who and who not to vote for. They run your life. When you sign yourself into a school system, you are signing away your life. That's what it felt like for me. You know? I used to get yelled at by teachers because I couldn't draw a fucking Spider-Man in art class. I know that sounds goofy, but I was just a fucking kid. Me and my friends, we used to draw like comic book characters and shit. They didn't want that. They wanted us to draw what they wanted to draw. Fuck you. Let me fucking be imaginative. You know what I mean? So yeah, we were provoked, or no, we were revoked from drawing that stuff in art class. We couldn't draw it. You know what I mean? And that's just another fucking example of indoctrination to me. You know what I mean? You couldn't express yourself. You couldn't express yourself at school. It was a fucking indoctrination camp. You know, you try to color outside the lines, you fed the consequences. You know what I mean? What does that sound like? Sounds like jail. Sounds like fucking jail. You know what I mean? And I look back and I'm like, man, how the fuck did I graduate? Like, I'm here now and I can't even sit still. I've got, like, I don't know. I look back then and I'm like, man, I don't know how I did it. I don't know how the fuck I did it. But I did it. But it was so fucking stupid, to be honest. Because, honestly, a high school diploma never really garnished anything. They literally sucked everything out of the school systems, as far as credibility and competence. They sucked the future out of it. Oh, if you go to school, you'll make money. You'll be a rich, successful person. Fuck you. Stop lying. And then, you know, multiple other different reasons I can't really name off the top of my head. But they're there. You know, they're there. If you kept your eyes open enough, you'd find it. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's not just the school system, but there's other means of indoctrination too, like your social media, your news outlets, your everything, man. Everywhere you look. Everywhere. I feel like fucking singing Full House. Everywhere you look. There's bullshit everywhere you look. Seriously. It's fucking, it's the truth. There's bullshit everywhere in this world. Down to your lease agreement, down to your eviction notice. It's all bullshit. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are starting to figure out that it's all one big fucking lie. You know what I mean? Everyone's finding out about this. So it's like, what do we do then? Do we revolt? Or do we try and change the system ourselves? You know, kind of like the elites did. They kind of coerced it into their favor. Maybe we got to do the same thing. I don't know. It's just like, it's just crazy how this world is structured. You know what I mean? That's why I make these videos. That's why I have this YouTube channel. I call out the bullshit, and I tell you guys what the alternative could be, if there is any. But I also tell you if we're fucked, which very most likely it looks like we are. You know what I mean? Back then, there used to be ways around this. You used to vote your way out. It ain't that anymore. It's not that anymore. You can't even go on social media and say certain shit without being demonetized and fucking canceled. You know what I mean? So it's like they're literally doing away with your freedoms and your well God-given liberties. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the indoctrination of the world. This is the slow nullification of the American dream, of the power to the people, of the amendments that we all fucking signed off back in 1776. You know, everything. Everything. You know, a lot of people say that this war is actually a war for the soul, for the spirit, for the internal. And I agree. I totally agree. The way this fucking world is going, they want to fucking rip you away from your spirituality. They want to tear you away from it any second they can get. Whether it be through pornography, whether it be through uh, music, whether it be through movies, whether it be through any of that. You know what I mean? Even in your personal relationships outside of family, indoctrination. There's some form of it. It's fucking bullshit. But it's the truth, you know? Somewhere along the line, they ruined the relationship between man and woman. They did it. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. You know? Nobody's getting along anymore. Nobody. There's no relationships anymore. There's no friendships. Half of America's alone. You know what I mean? Not because of us, because the fucking government. They wanted this. Isn't it a coincidence that humanity is turning away from each other? Meanwhile, AI, the most biggest breakthrough in technological advancement history, has made its debut? It's no coincidence, you guys. They want to little the birth rate and supplement and strategize and advance the technological advancements that's coming with AI. They're indoctrinating us to the grave, and they want AI to take over. Those are the two things. There's your future. There's the future that they promised for you. All those years of going to school. All those years of putting up with these bullshit, fucking indoctrinated, fucking self-righteous bastard teachers that fucking acted like their shit didn't stink. You know what I mean? That's what all this was about. Man, if I knew now what I knew then, I would be a different student. I would be a totally different student. Man, I remember so many times I used to go to school and I used to get kicked to the fucking curb and I would swallow it. You want to know why? Because that was the future. The big lie. You know what I mean? They fucking lied to everybody, man. And it's so sad. It's so sad, man. I feel sorry for the younger men beyond my generation. I guess that, what is that? What is that, Gen Alpha? Yeah. You know, I feel sorry for them. You know, they don't even know who they are yet. It takes a lot to figure out who you are. Even me, I'm 27 years old. I still don't know who the fuck I am. I didn't get that chance. Too busy being indoctrinated by the fucking world. You know what I mean? It ain't fair. It's not fair to anybody. I'm just talking about the young men in this generation because a lot of young women would want to be led by a well put together young man, right? Okay. Okay. Then let me continue. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. History has proven time and time again that the male and the female together in unison is a threat. It's a threat. Having kids, having marriages, having a stable relationship, having communication. They don't want that. Not in the job market, not in school life, not in home life, not in social media life, none of it. They don't want people to see eye to eye. I mean, look at your ceasefires overseas. Those motherfuckers can't even talk it out. And they have billions of dollars in unlimited gunfire. You know what I mean? They have the world at their fingertips. You know? And they won't even say yes. That's the saddest fucking thing. Man. You know? And it makes me just think of the future generation. I don't even think about myself anymore, man. My future's been fucking butt fucked to hell. Why the fuck would I care? But the kids, man. The fucking children of the future, they're fucked, man. It sucks. It sucks. It wasn't always supposed to be like this, but hey, birds of a feather flock together, I guess, you know? You get enough of them, you get a fucking flock. The world was never supposed to be like this. It's the whole point of my video today, you guys. Like, man, this world was supposed to be so much different. I hear from everybody, my family, my friends, oh, you got so much potential. You got so much potential. Yeah, but the world is going to kill it. That's what they're good at. It ain't the person's fault. It's the world. This world will take everything good and fucking flatten it like a pancake. Whether it be your love, whether it be your life, whether it be your kids, whether it be anything. The world just ass rapes you into the ground, and there's nothing you can do about it sometimes. Most of the time, you can do something about it. But the way this world is orchestrated, they don't want you to. They want you to be a helpless, heartless, soulless shell. And I refuse to be that. I don't care how I have to struggle. Put a bullet in me. The way you do Kirk, Kennedy, King, Christ. Kill me. Alright? At least I know my thought pattern process and what's inside my heart is eternal. And you can't kill that, motherfuckers. You can't. Not one commie bastard can fucking do that to me. Or anybody for that matter. So, good luck with your indoctrination for that. Because there's no fucking solution to that. You're never gonna kill it. That's the way I think. Because time and time again, the most righteous person has stood up in the face of evil. In the face of pure, demonic, satanic evil. Right? And they always die. Oh, let me put a bullet through you. Okay. Go and do it. You know what I mean? They can stop you in death, so they think. You know what I mean? Just because man can bleed, that's why we resort to killing. That's why we resort to killing. It's a weak ideology if you think about it hard enough. It's a weak ideology to sit there and kill somebody. Why? Because they outbested you spiritually? Because they thought around your game, your scheme, your dirty, low-licking, bottom-feeding, bitch-ass scheme? And I'm talking for Kirk in this moment. Because they put that guy down for no fucking reason. He was a good fucking man. He was a good fucking man. And who's ever responsible, I hope they go to the bottomless pit. The bottomless ditch that hell could ever muster for them. And I mean that from the bottom of my fucking heart and soul. This world loves to take away anything good. It loves it. I never existed, if I ever did exist anywhere else, in a more bottomless, ruthless, disgusting, manipulative, worthless fucking existence ever known to man. You have people who are at the top who do this disgusting, low, revolting fucking acts. And they rather not operate off of fairness and love and pureness and grace and compassion. You know what I mean? I see none of that today. Nowhere. Nowhere. And then again to be reminded what the fucking truth is. What is the truth? You don't know. You've been too indoctrinated to figure it out. And if you do figure it out, you're going to pay the price. It's a weak mindset. The way they think. The way they think. It's a weak fucking mindset to me. My dad used to say this saying. He used to say, I'd rather be dead than red. That's what that means. When you're red, when you're in the red, that means that you have blood on your hands. That means that you're a lying, low-life, bottom-feeding motherfucker at that point. When you become red. You're a liar. You're a liar at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And there's only two places you're going after death. You either go up or you either go down. Because at the end of the day, there's either good or there's evil. There's no in between. You don't get no in between. Satan owns the fence. So, choose wisely. And I'm talking to the people at the top of the food chain that claim they're at the top of the food chain. There's only two ways you're going. That's what I fucking think about at night. Where the fuck am I gonna go when I shut my eyes? Like forever. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck about where my next Saturday fix is gonna go. I don't care about where my next outing's gonna be with friends. I'm thinking about what decisions can I make to where I know that my conscience and my spirit is gonna be when I close my eyes when I die. That's what I think about. That's what I fucking think about at night. You know why? Because that's the end. That's the end goal. That's the future. Eternity. That's everybody's future, really, if you think about it. And like I was saying in my last video, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having kids is risky. Moving to a new house is risky. Going to school is risky. It's all risky. You're not going to make it out alive. You know what I mean? Life is a risk. But just make the right decisions. Especially if you're a leader. Especially if you're a fucking leader. Man, these people, they claim to be leaders and they spit and lie in people's faces? What a chump. What a fucking chump. That's why good, compassionate people are never given power. If you ever realize that, the good-hearted, the compassionate, they're never given power. Because power just corrupts. So they happen to be at the bottom most of the time. But rock bottom has built more champions than a mountaintop will ever fucking do. You know what I mean? So that's why they come from the bottom. Because rock bottom's built more champions than ever. Rock bottom has built more than anything. Because you need to start at the foundation, right? That's the strongest points of a building. You know, so rock bottom's where it's at. It ain't the rooftop. You'll fall over. And all these people that are at the top, they're not going to win at the end. We know that. We know that. Because, like I said, there's only two places you're going when you close your eyes. Forever. There's only two places you're going. If they didn't exist, there would be no ability to reason in a human being and in the human hive mind. Gotta understand that, you guys. I'm not saying this shit because I'm crazy or stupid. I'm saying it because the world has finally been figured out. And it's been figured out by everybody. It's been figured out by everybody. You know what I mean? And the world today has just gotten so stupid with the politics, with all this other shit going on. It's just gotten terrible. Half the stuff doesn't even make any sense, you guys. So, the last thing I could say for this video is to just encourage your discernment. You know what I mean? Notice credibility. Notice competence. Notice compassion. You know what I mean? Don't be a bottomless pit. Don't be a bottomless bitch. because then that destroys the soul. It destroys the inward, not the outward. Your outward's gonna always look better on paper. Your outward's always gonna look better if you manipulate, cheat, lie, scam, scum, scheme. You're always gonna be out better on paper, but on the inside, that's where it counts.